What's up, family? Man, I want to have a heart-to-heart conversation with you guys today. Man, this is going to be a real sensitive conversation, okay? Man, but before we get started, man, I bless each and every one of you. May God bless you. May God continue to guide you and lead you on your journey of growth and development. May God continue to lead you on your journey of healing all your trauma and the baggage and the bullshit that you carry with you. You know what I mean? May God continue to lead you. May you allow God to continue to lead you on this journey. Okay? Man, this is gonna be rough. Okay? Man, misunderstood. Man, years ago, I saw my mom murdered by my dad. I was 2 years old. Okay? And the trip is, at that time, for some reason, and I don't know why, but for some reason, I took on this thing of being abandoned by my mom. I took on this feeling as a kid where I didn't care about Mother's Day. I didn't like my mom. I loved my mom as a kid, but as I grew older, I began to not like my mom, if that makes sense. I felt as though my mom abandoned me, okay? I felt as though she left me in this cruel world all by myself, to defend myself, defend for myself. And I don't know why I took that belief system on, but that's the belief that I carried as a young kid, that my mom didn't love me, and she left me all alone. And I carried that for years. It wasn't until I began my journey of growth and development that God had to sit down with me and show me, Elijah, you got abandonment issues. Elijah, you got a misunderstanding in regards to your mama. Elijah, you hate Mother's Day because it reminds you of your mama, and it reminds you of the fact that your mom was no longer here. And she left you. That's how you see it, Elijah. Your mama didn't leave willingly. Your mama didn't go because she wanted to go. But you don't see that. You don't understand that. And so I took on this notion of, man, I can't fucking trust women. Women can't be trusted because my mama left me when I needed her the most. My mama left when I was screaming and crying the most. And it's crazy how our mind will play tricks on us. It's crazy how we'll see something, we'll experience something, and without even really diving deep into that understanding and that misunderstanding and that crazy thought process, we'll take on a twisted concept of reality. We'll experience some pain. We'll experience some trauma. And we'll attach a belief system to that pain and trauma. I knew my dad was killing my mom. I knew he was stabbing her. He stabbed her 49 times. But for some reason, in my mind, I was mad at my mom. For some reason in my mind, I convinced myself that my mama abandoned me. For some reason in my own mind, I convinced myself that my mama didn't love me. It's crazy what we can tell ourselves. It's crazy what we can convince ourselves. I was there and present when my father was stabbing my mama, when he was killing her because she didn't want to come back to him. I was present. I was there. I witnessed it. And yet, even with being there, even with witnessing it, even with hearing what was going on, even with understanding my father was abusive and angry, I still convinced myself that it was my mama's fault. I still convinced myself that my mama didn't give a damn about me. And the crazy thing is, as I grew older, I believed that no woman was capable of loving me, because even my mama didn't love me enough to stay. Even my mama didn't love me enough to be there for me. That's what I convinced myself. I wonder what you've convinced yourself of. I wonder what you've lied to yourself about. I wonder what you've twisted reality to be. I wonder what you convinced yourself of that's not true. See, the crazy thing is, we believe some bullshit. We know it's bullshit. We know this motherfucker's out there hoeing around. We know this motherfucker ain't faithful. We know this motherfucker's lying to us in our motherfucking face, and yet we'll still believe it. We know they ain't never been faithful. They ain't never told the fucking truth. Every time they open their motherfucking mouth, it's a damn lie. We know this shit, and for some reason, we want to believe them so motherfucking bad that we'll believe this bullshit, and we know it's bullshit. I wonder how many of us have convinced ourselves that we're not lovable. I wonder how many of us have convinced ourselves that nobody will ever love and cherish and nurture and provide and be there for us. I wonder how many of us have really convinced ourselves of that. We talk all this talk of, man, I'm finding my soulmate, I'm looking for my twin flame and the love of my life. We talk this bullshit, but the great majority of it, the truth be told, we've convinced ourselves that we're not lovable. We've convinced ourselves that we can't be happy in a relationship. This is real shit. And then when we get in a relationship and the shit goes bad, we're quick to blame the other person for the shit going bad. And never really looking at the fact that we're down. Am I creating these self-fulfilling prophecies in my life? I believe this bullshit, but I believe it to be reality. I believe it to be true. Am I manifesting this shit in my fucking life? Because I've convinced myself of this stupid shit. wonder how many of us have convinced ourselves that we're really not that smart. I wonder how many of us convinced ourselves that we'll have to be broke the rest of our life. I wonder how many of us have convinced ourselves that we'll never really have joy. I wonder how many of us convinced ourselves that we'll have to battle depression and suicidal thoughts for the rest of our lives, and that we'll always have them. We have to put in the work. We have to dive deep into the subconscious thoughts and understand who the fuck we are and why we think and do the shit we do. That's the only way to understand who you are. That's the only way to know thyself, is you got to put in the motherfucking work to dive deep into the subconscious thoughts. We got to go deep. And it's a scary process because we don't know what we're going to find. Years ago, probably back in '96, I coined this phrase: wisdom and love is found deep within the jungles of the mind. Most are not courageous enough to enter therein and just glance at it from afar. I'm going to say it again. 1996, I coined this phrase: wisdom and love are found deep within the jungles of the mind. Most are not courageous enough to enter therein and just glance at it from afar. See, we got to go within. We've been looking for love externally. We've been looking for wisdom externally. Going to fucking school and reading books and watching videos don't make you fucking wise. It just gives you fucking knowledge, but it doesn't make you wise. We gotta grow the fuck up. It don't matter how many fucking degrees you have. That don't make you fucking wise. God help us. God help us. Hope and pray that I said something to encourage you, to inspire you, or to even challenge your way of thinking. I love you all. Namaste. That means the God within me, the light within me, the love within me sees, recognizes, acknowledges, and cherishes the God, the love, the light within each and every one of you. Happy healing, family. Peace.